I just don't. And Broncos have one of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL in the past 2 weeks.
I also stated that I thought that the defense for the Packers may score their first defensive touchdown, that all 28 of those points wouldn't necessarily be coming from the offense either. This could be one of those games, especially it being a sloppy. I can see a scoop and score because if it's rainy and sloppy, that's a scoop and score fumble opportunity right there. That's usually
especially those pressures with Clark and the Williams brothers. I mean,
this defense,
man,
there's one thing, Dave, I know you're going to agree. And, Dillon, I don't know how much you've been paying attention, but I'm going to tell you this right now. There's only one network I've seen that's covering the fact that and hyping it up, and that's NFL Network, and they're doing a good job. This defense is completely different, not only in the way they play, but how they are interacting with the whole roster. This defense and like Za'Darius and Preston Smith and Adrian Amos and some of these guys they're talking about constantly, the free agents, they have come in and they have taken over the team. And I think that's what's made Aaron Rodgers, like, they have taken the pressure. They were just talking about when you guys were talking fantasy stuff. They've taken the pressure off of this franchise of the offense, and put it on the defense. That it's guys, you need to get on board with maybe not the whole Packers team because the offense hasn't earned it, but damn it, don't be late to the party of respecting and hyping this defense up. It is everything and more than we've advertised and thought it's going to be. In fact, it's more than I thought it was going to be personally, and I don't think I'm overstepping saying Dave feels the same way.
Oh, God knows it. Go ahead,
Dillon. I've been watching the highlights from last week, and it's the Packers-Vikings right now, and the very same guy who missed Dalvin Cook earlier on that touchdown is the guy who tipped up this Kirk Cousins pass that Preston Smith picked off. So I really like that he came back and had a good play there.
Yeah, Darnell Savage, you're expecting rookie mistakes, man, but he is overall he's a talented safety, man. He's got the speed to, like Jay said, to be able to break on those routes. And Flacco doesn't lead people away with his eyes. He telegraphs where he's going to go with it. So I expect a couple of interceptions today.
Now, there's been quite a bit made of this matchup between Davante Adams and Chris Harris, which I don't personally understand because as long as I've been watching Davante Adams, he's been getting the better of guys like Xavier Rhodes, for instance. So, I mean, I get a good feeling of how you guys think of this, but break it down for me.
You mind if I take the lead, Jay?
I'm going to say there's one thing, and then you can go. Davante Adams and Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, if you haven't seen what he talks about of him just being special, dude is special, particularly off the line. And guys that their strength is man press coverage are the ones he eats up the worst, and that's what Harris is. Go ahead.
So Vic Fangio has faced Rodgers in the past and Davante Adams, and he's had the short end of the stick of facing that combo. Chris Harris had a really good game in 2015 against the Packers team that lost a lot of weapons that year, was out with Jordy. Randall Cobb was in and out with James Jones and Davante as our two. And Davante was the second year in. He wasn't as polished and prime as he is now. So I think that this whole matchup between Harris and Adams is way overblown, like Dillon said. Fangio doesn't stick DBs and follow them around the field. He doesn't do that. He sits one DB on side of the field and he stays there. So I can see LaFleur moving and motioning Adams away from that side of the field so then that way you can get him on that second or third string corner. And Bryce Callahan is questionable today. He has not come out. It has not come out that he will play or not. Even if he does play, he's dinged up. And if you're giving me a Bryce Callahan against the Davante Adams, that's 100%. I'm taking Davante Adams even over 100% Chris Harris, especially in the muddy rain in Green Bay. I think Adams settles that today.
I like Aaron Jones to be fantasy MVP of this game with the way it's shaping up with the weather and whatnot.
Underrated target today in the rain, blocking tight end. Expect a couple play-action passes, maybe in the red zone or maybe for a decent to big gain. Mercedes Lewis.
Ooh. Now, Jay, how are we doing on time? Because I can zoom through the rest of these games real quick.
I was just about to hit the 2-minute warning bell here.
All right, so the last 1 o'clock game is Cincinnati going to Buffalo. Devin Singletary's out. I love Frank Gore. Tyler Croft is out, so look for rookie Dawson Knox. He's kind of a sleeper tight end who has been making the few plays these first 2 weeks. I like Dawson Knox. So if you're having tight end problems, get that guy on your bench. For Cincinnati's side, I don't love the wide receivers. John Ross is a risky play. Tyler Boyd is going to be against Tre'Davious White, so I'm not expecting a big game, but he's still going to see plenty of targets. You got to start Tyler Boyd. Mixon will probably have another rough game. Tyler Eifert's an interesting streamer. Josh Allen is actually going to be fantasy MVP of this game. I'm sure he'll have a rushing touchdown to go with a couple of throws to my boy John Brown. So that's how I see this game playing out. Buffalo's 6-point favorites, and I see them covering that. How about you, D?
Yep. Yeah, I see Buffalo taking it. I don't see a reason why Cincy, I mean, they showed a little scrappiness against Seattle a couple weeks ago, but then they got thrashed by San Francisco, a similar kind of read option, play action type offense. So I don't see any reason why the old ageless Frank Gore should gain some more yards moving up that rushing all-time list.
Houston goes to L.A. to take on the Chargers in what should be a pretty exciting, high-scoring affair. The Chargers are 3.5-point favorites. With Laramie Tunsil out, I would be worried about Deshaun Watson getting sacked.
Hunter Henry's out, too.
Hunter Henry is out. And the kicker, Badgley, it's kind of important if you're streaming kickers. Was a full participant, but he's got a groin injury, so if you have him on your team, I'd be looking to pivot. For Houston, you're playing Hopkins, Will Fuller, and Kenny Stills are a risky flex play, but you can still get them out there against the Chargers. It's a acceptable secondary. That's tough to say. Rivers is an okay play. Roll him out there if you have to. Austin Eckler should have another great game. A lot of people are excited about Carlos Hyde this week, and I don't think he's a bad play at all. I would play him over Duke Johnson. Moving on to New Orleans, traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. New Orleans, obviously, without Drew Brees, will have Bridgewater taking over. You have Traquan Smith out with an ankle injury. So guys like Ted Ginn get a boost. He's an interesting flex play. Even though I don't see Bridgewater taking the same type of shots to Ted Ginn and Drew Brees.
Heck no.
Latavius Murray's not a good play today. Elvin Kamara and Michael Thomas are going to give you plenty of targets and catches, but, I'm not.
If Bridgewater can get it there.
Right. Can they get into the red zone is the question. So
Seattle has Ansah and Clowney both healthy today.
Exactly. So although their secondary may not be what it used to, now you've got Clowney and Ansah getting after it. On Seattle's side of the ball, Rashad Penny's been limited with a hamstring injury, so I'd look for a pretty big day from Chris Parsons. Russell Wilson makes for an interesting play. Since you don't have Drew Brees, it might not be the shootout we're used to between these teams, but I still like Tyler Lockett a lot. I don't like Metcalf this week as much. I don't think it'll be a Metcalf type of week. And Will Disley has been a surprising tight end play. If you had him last year, then he can put up some multi-touchdown games. So if you're streaming, you can do worse than Will Disley this week. Moving on to Pittsburgh, traveling to San Fran, another team without their Hall of Fame quarterback in Pittsburgh. Mason Rudolph takes over. James Conner's been a full participant, so he'll be good to go. You can roll him out there. Vance McDonald, I think, is a good play this week, along with Juju, who may not see, the red zone opportunities like we talked about, but he'll see plenty of targets. And James Washington now becomes a very interesting play with his chemistry with Mason Rudolph. On San Fran's side of the ball, they are 6.5-point favorites. I don't think they're going to cover that. I think they win by 3. Tevin Coleman's still out, so you have the trio of Breida, Mostert, and Jeff Wilson Jr., who all could see work. I wouldn't put as much into Jeff Wilson.
Joe Staley's out, too.
With Joe Staley out, that gives Pittsburgh pretty good pass defense. Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt have been tops in the league in sacks for the past couple of years, so I wouldn't play Garoppolo this week. I don't think he's a great play, especially now with Micah Fitzpatrick coming in. He might be matched up on a guy like Kittle, so it might make him less effective. That said, you're still playing Kittle. I love Matt Breida. He was one of my starts of the week. And Deebo Samuel's another guy who could have an interesting game. You should have Samuel on your bench. I think he's eventually going to take over snaps from Goodwin and Dante Pettis. Moving on to the Sunday night game, we have the LA Rams traveling to Cleveland in the Dog Pound.
Make it quick, Dillon.
Mayfield looking for everybody. I like all the Rams in this game. Play all your Rams. You can play Chubb, play Odell Beckham. Demetrius Harris becomes an interesting streamer at tight end, so throw him out there for Cleveland. Then Monday night, you have the Bears going to Washington. Jordan Reed is out. Don't play Vernon Davis. He's a trap. Go ahead and roll Chris Thompson out there. He's actually a pretty good play for Washington. They'll see a lot of targets. Don't play Trubisky. Tariq Cohen is meh. And Allen Robinson, same. Meh. I don't like any offensive players.
Adrian Peterson might have a day.
Yeah, there you go. Adrian Peterson, I don't like him as much, but take D's word for it. If Adrian Peterson has a good day, then give Dave all the credit.
There you go. Well done. It's time to wrap it up, and that means it's time for our shout-outs, and we got to start first of all and foremost. If you want to go out somewhere and you want to do some more, talk after you listen to the show, you want to go to NFLAddictionsOnFacebook.com. It's not a trash talk site, so keep it clean and keep it cordial. That's NFLAddictionsOnFacebook.com. And if you want to win something for your man cave, or you're really coveting that really cool grill set you can't afford, go to RazAddictionsOnFacebook.com and play their version of the raffle. They even have raffles where you can put in $10 to win 100. That's a chance at winning 10 times your money, folks. It's a great place to play and win all kinds of great stuff. It's RazAddictionsOnFacebook.com. Tell them what you've won, Dave.
Won a little bit of a grill tailgating set. Includes a big old tent, 4 chairs, big old pop-out table. Even converts into a beer pong table worth like $280. I won it for $40. I've got helmets galore, everything from the '60s era all the way to the current. I've got NFL memorabilia with Nitschke, Taylor. Devontae Adams signed footballs. I've got the whole slew, guys.
That's RazAddictionsOnFacebook.com for their version of the raffle. Play and win. And we've got a few people we want to shout out. Go ahead, Dave. You know who they all are.
We're going to go ahead and shout out. Let's start off with Mr. Ryan Molstad. Packer 365. You will see him later today in our post-game show for the Green Bay Packers post-game. Man, he covers everything. He puts out good content. Follow his Twitter at Ryan Molstad or at Packers 365. He is part of the first and goal train now. So, you know what? We're happy to represent him and have him on here. Great guy, knows his football. Next, as Julie noted, a PFG Vibe, one of the founders. Also, too, author, football writer. Her work is bar none. She puts out really good content. The whole age of ladies don't know football is over, folks. That's been over for a while. The Archer Football is female writers across the board, and it's an amazing, amazing site for that, especially for writers, and Julie's one of the featured ones on there. Check her out. Also, too, PackToTheFuture.com. Our podcast is on there. They have a ton of content. They have tickets. They always have stuff covering the Packers, guys. Go ahead and check them out. Also, too, Parker Moe's very underrated writer, very young, talented writer for diehardPackerFan.com. Man, if you want to get on there, he's always putting out content left and right. Check him out, guys.
And also, when you're done listening to us today, you might want to jump over and listen to the full Monty Football Show on Nuts and Bolts Sports on blogtalkradio.com, folks. And tune in immediately after the game for the 365 First and Goal post-game show with Ryan Molstad, myself, and Mr. Dave. Thanks a lot, folks. Have a great day, and thanks a lot,
See you again,
Dillon.
guys.
You guys, you are awesome, Dillon. You're so smart. You're so smart, man.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you guys so much for the support. This has been awesome. It's going to continue to be awesome. I think we had a few listener questions that we didn't get to today, but everyone feel free to interact.